not sleep with their two eyes. Every day we record killings. As of last month, April, we had about 36 recorded.
Mr. Hector, however, called on security agencies and the chairman of our East and West LGAs to beef up security in the area. Confirming the incident, the spokesperson of the River State Police Command, Grace Ringe Koko, said the leader of the gang behind the attack has been identified, but no arrest has been made. Recall that in February, a young mother of two, Chigbuewijim lawyer, was found dead after she was whisked away from her home in Abarikpo community by suspected cultists. A widower, still a lawyer, had informed our correspondent that one AK John Esochikwe and their group broke into their home at around 1 a.m. on Sunday, January 12, 2023, abducted and brutally killed his wife of 8 years. He said his wife was taken away after some women from the community told the suspected cultists that his wife spoke against them.
Chief Omeka Alexander and his community women went to report my wife to Esau Chikwe, and Esau Chikwe called his boy, AK John. Esau Chikwe called him to escort him to go and kill my wife and others. I want to intervene in this matter. This Esau Chikwe and John Eto AK, that they should look for them to come and explain more about the death of my wife.
The late Chigbuewijim lawyer was 33 years old when she was allegedly raped and killed. She was working with N-Power in Gokana, local government area. She was also the general secretary for the women's group in Abarikpo community. Meanwhile, the River State Police Command says it has deployed personnel to different parts of the state to ensure effective policing. Spokesperson of the command, Grace Ringe Koko, said this in an interview with correspondent Emeka Otuka.
The city has deployed some tactical teams. We have already drawn our plan to ensure that the state is crime-free.
As you may know, there has been an increased presence of police personnel around Rumekoro Flyover, Obirikwe Flyover, Rumigbo Junction, Elichi Beach axis of Dube, East-West Road, and other areas since Tuesday. Moving on, the President-elect Bola Tinubu believes that taking care of the welfare of judges is another way of fighting corruption. The President-elect said this during the commissioning of the retired Justice Iche Ndu Court building today. He said any government that does not want compromise or does not want to compromise justice should pay proper attention to the judge's welfare.
I take a different angle to what Wike has done here today. It's fighting corruption. To pay attention to their welfare. If one fear dispensation of justice, you don't want them to operate in hazardous conditions. This is the way to fight corruption. Let's think value for value. We don't want our judges to play foul, to compromise justice. Not just the books, but do something. I promise you, we're going to review all of this in a policy think tank.
The President-elect Bola Tinubu also said that his administration will ensure judicial reform. The President-elect Bola Tinubu promised to be fair to all, adding the unity of the country is not negotiable. On the different interpretations to his response to Governor Wike's request for a refund of the money spent on constructing flyovers on federal roads in the state, the President-elect insists that he cannot commit himself to anything when his tenure has not started.
I am personally grateful to the man who brought me here. He didn't ask for a personal commitment. He asked for a policy commitment, which an incoming president has no authority to offer and approve. There can only be one president at a time. I cannot commit to expenditure on behalf of outgoing president when my tenure has not started.
Earlier, Governor Nyesom Wike stressed the need for attitudinal change in maintenance of public facilities. Governor Wike also charged the Chief Judge of the state to ensure proper maintenance of the building and promised a monthly maintenance fee of 20 million naira.
so bad that you build a structure like this, come back here in the next 6 months, you ask yourself, why did I even embark upon this? Beautiful as it is, I hope in the next 6 months it will still be like this. When you enter into the courtrooms, their conditions will be working. Put it in your budget. I will plead with my successor. So each month you get 20 million naira to maintain this place. So we'll give you 1 year in advance for the maintenance of the structure.
Our correspondent reports that the Cat building was named after retired Justice Iche Indu. Meanwhile, the APC governorship candidate in Rivers State, Cole, says he was absent at the commissioning of projects by the president-elect Bola Tinubu in Port Harcourt because he was not invited. Speaking on Arise TV today, Mr. Cole said Governor Wike did not also inform the APC in the state that he was inviting the president-elect. He said Governor Wike acted in his capacity as governor. Mr. Cole also said only a compelling offer will make him withdraw his election petition from the election tribunal. The Rivers APC candidate said the families of those who were killed during the election and the ordinary people of Rivers State must be considered as part of the offer to him.
The tribunal knows what it's meant to do, and we have judges who are of impeccable character standing there. I will be the governor of Rivers State. That much I'm certain about. Now, if somebody is offering me something that is different from this, it has to be fairly compelling to assuage the lives of those who died, to assuage those who were maimed, to assuage those who felt that their mandate was totally stolen.
The APC governorship candidate also maintained that the deal between the APC presidential candidate and the Rivers State governor, Nyesom Wike, was not necessary.
The personal basis between you and I is not something that I agree with, because I can assure you, you do not need this deal to win Rivers State. But he's much older than me. He's somebody who has a lot of understanding of politics. And there might be things, in fact, there are things that he sees that I would not see. Things that he has seen that enabled him to justify that he needed to go into a deal. We have gone stage by stage. You don't need this deal to win.
Time for a quick commercial break, but still ahead. 2022 flood victim narrates ordeal. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to Nigeria.
Welcome back now to the rest of the newscast. The Council of Chiefs and Elders in Elekpokwodu community of Rukpoko clan has described as baseless the statement credited to Ruma Olu people that Elekpokwodu is preempting the decision of the River State Surveyor General in the disputed land case between both Obiakpo communities. Dr. Nkele Odu, who spoke on behalf of the Elekpokwodu chiefs, said they are rather demanding that the State Surveyor General comply with the directive of the Inspector General of Police by sharing the disputed land according to the 1961 Supreme Court judgment.
It is not correct that we are trying to preempt the Surveyor General of Rivers State. We are demanding that the Surveyor General of the state should, in strict terms, comply to the directive given to him by the Inspector General of Police. Because the Inspector General of Police, in specific terms, asked him to mark out Omodoro Eliwa Libo. Because according to that survey plan, Omodoro Eliwa Libo is a land of Rumawolo. On the north of this Omodoro Eliwa Libo is Oporo Rupoko, which belongs to us. Further north of that Oporo is Oyaminimba, which belongs to Rupoko. If the Supreme Court record is confusing, let us fall back to the savage judgment.
Dr. Odu also said the Elekpokwodu people will not compromise their portion of the disputed land while calling for the right thing to be done on the matter.
And for anybody to say that Surveyor General will interpret Supreme Court judgment is untrue. What he was directed to do is to mark out Omodoro Eliwa Libo. The only body that can interpret Supreme Court judgment is a court of competent jurisdiction, not a Surveyor General. What it can do is to use a particular survey plan, mark out a particular portion of land according to what he is directed. And it is that land which belongs to Rupoko that we are insisting we cannot compromise and we cannot allow that to belong to any other community. That is the position of the Elekpokwodu community.
A 2022 flood victim from Bayelsa State, Maurice Alagwa, has urged all states in the Niger Delta region to urgently set up a flood and erosion agency to reduce the impact of the predicted 2023 heavy rainfall. Mr. Alagwa, who spoke with our correspondent, Soibi Oruwari, had something to say.
That the state government has set up a flood and erosion agency. Such agency is not just formed and then saddled just with bureaucracy, but it will be a practical agency that will be properly funded. Bayelsa State has done that, and we want to suggest that other states should also set up that type of flood and erosion commission to take this issue of flooding and erosion head on. Ecological fund can be directed to that agency. Part of the 13% can be directed to that agency.
The flood victim also shared his experience during the 2022 flood disaster.
It would have been very, very bad. But you know one thing? I had a neighbor in one flat before mine. The husband and wife are medical doctors and they relocated to the UK for greener pasture. So my landlord was gracious enough to say, Maurice, we cannot allow you to, even though people are coming to ask for this accommodation, please cross over to this side. Later, you can cross over to your side. So that was how we went into a completely free 3-bedroom flat. As bad as the situation was, I would say within that period, I had an extraordinary luck.
In business, the two ad hoc committees set up by the House of Representatives in January 2022 to investigate the current state of petroleum refineries and the actual volume of premium motor spirit being consumed daily in Nigeria have laid their reports. Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, who ordered the probes, gave the panels 4 weeks to carry out their respective tasks. In entertainment, Trademark Tribunal has cancelled the registration and application of Nollywood movie Domitila as a trademark. Recall that filmmaker Zebe Jiro and actress Anne Injimanze have been locked in a legal dispute over the rightful ownership of the brand Domitila. In sports, of Lionel Messi and Neymar after protests by fans angry over poor performances. Several hundred PSG supporters gathered outside club headquarters on Wednesday evening where they set off smoke flares and sang hostile chants about underperforming stars Messi, Neymar and Italian midfielder Marco Verratti.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
On the foreign scene, the U.S. has denied Russian claims that it masterminded an alleged drone attack on the Kremlin. The White House said the U.S. had no involvement at all, adding that Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov was lying. Russia has accused Ukraine of carrying out the alleged attack with Washington support, claiming it was an attempt to assassinate Vladimir Putin. On the news this evening, you heard one person has been critically injured following an accident involving gas-laden trailer along the east-west road axis of Port Harcourt. Gunmen have killed the youth leader in Outer East local government area of Rivers State. President-elect Bola Tinubu has commended Governor Wike for prioritizing the welfare of judges. APC governorship candidate in Rivers State, Toyin Cole, has given reasons for his absence at the commissioning by the president-elect. On the foreign scene, the U.S. has denied masterminding an alleged drone attack in the Kremlin. The news was edited by Onyekachi Nwosu. Rain expected in Port Harcourt this evening. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Kala Dakuru Batabo. Good evening. Stay tuned. Hard Facts with Dio continues.